The Great Depression changed the way millions of people thought about money. For many families, saving was not a hobby. It was survival. A wasted meal, a broken tool, a careless purchase, or a few coins spent too quickly could make life harder by the end of the week. So people learned to stretch everything: food, clothing, fuel, tools, household supplies, time, relationships, even scraps that most people today would throw away without thinking. They did not have apps, credit cards, online deals, or fast delivery to rescue them from bad planning. They had gardens, notebooks, neighbors, repair skills, soup bones, flour sacks, mason jars, secondhand goods, and a deep fear of waste. Some of what people did during the Depression came from desperation, but some of it was simply wisdom under pressure. And many of those old money tricks still make sense today. Not because times are exactly the same. They are not. But because the basic problem is familiar. How do you make limited money go further when life gets expensive? In this video, we're looking at 20 Great Depression money tricks that still work today, and what they can teach us about stretching money, avoiding waste, and staying resourceful. 1. They used every part of the food they bought. During the Great Depression, food waste was not treated casually. If a family paid for food, they tried to use all of it. Bones became broth. Stale bread became crumbs, stuffing, toast, or pudding. Vegetable scraps became soup stock. Leftover meat was stretched into hash, stew, sandwiches, or gravy. Fruit that was getting soft became pie filling, sauce, preserves, or cobbler. This was not about being trendy or zero waste. It was about survival. Throwing away food meant throwing away money, and many households could not afford that. Today, the same lesson still matters. A lot of money disappears between the grocery store and the trash can. People buy food with good intentions, forget it. Order takeout, and then throw away what's spoiled. The Depression-era trick is simple. Before buying more, use what is already there. Build meals around leftovers. Freeze extra portions. Turn scraps into broth. Plan around what is closest to going bad. The lesson is that the cheapest groceries are often the ones you already paid for. 2. They kept a victory-style garden before it was fashionable. Many families grew whatever they could. Backyards, side yards, empty lots, porches, and small patches of land became food sources. Even a modest garden could produce potatoes, beans, greens, tomatoes, onions, carrots, herbs, or fruit. For families with little cash, a garden was not decoration. It was insurance. It helped reduce grocery costs and gave households a sense of control when jobs, wages, and prices felt uncertain. Gardening also taught people to think seasonally. You planted when it was time to plant. You harvested when it was time to harvest. You preserved what you could before it spoiled. Today, not everyone has land, time, or the right climate for a large garden. But the principle still works on a smaller scale. Herbs in pots, tomatoes in containers, a few raised beds, microgreens, community gardens. Even learning to regrow simple kitchen scraps can reduce waste and reconnect people with food. The lesson? Producing even a little of what you consume can create savings, skills, and resilience. 3. They repaired clothing instead of replacing it. Clothing was treated differently during hard times. A tear did not mean the item was finished. A missing button did not mean a new shirt. A worn knee did not mean new pants. People patched, hemmed, darned, resized, resewed, and reused clothing until it truly could not serve its original purpose. Then it might become cleaning rags, quilt pieces, doll clothes, patches, or stuffing. This habit saved money because clothing was more expensive relative to many household incomes. It also taught people to maintain what they owned. Today, cheap clothing has made replacement feel normal, but that can create constant spending. The old trick is to repair early. Replace buttons. Patch small holes. Learn basic mending. Take better care of shoes and coats. Buy fewer items and make them last longer. The lesson: every item you extend is a purchase you delay, and delayed purchases quietly protect your budget. 4. They cooked cheap staples in many different ways. Depression-era households relied heavily on filling staples: beans, rice, potatoes, oats, cornmeal, flour, cabbage, onions, pasta, dried peas. These foods were not exciting by themselves, but they were affordable, filling and flexible. A potato could become soup, hash, pancakes, dumplings, fried potatoes, baked potatoes, or a thickener for a stew. Beans could become soup, chili, spreads, patties, or a meat stretcher. Oats could become breakfast, cookies, filler, or bread. The trick was variety from simple ingredients. Today, this is still one of the most practical ways to control food costs. You do not need every meal to be built around expensive ingredients. You need a few reliable staples and enough recipes to keep them from feeling boring. The lesson: a low-cost ingredient becomes powerful when you know 5 ways to use it. 5. They stretched meat instead of making it the whole meal. For many families, meat was expensive, so when they had it, they stretched it. A small amount of meat could flavor a pot of beans. A bone could become broth. Ground meat could be mixed with oats, breadcrumbs, rice, potatoes, or vegetables. A roast could become dinner, sandwiches, hash, soup, and gravy across several days. This was not always a choice people loved, but it was practical. The meat provided flavor and protein, while cheaper ingredients made the meal filling. Today, this trick still works because meat is often one of the most expensive parts of a grocery bill. Using smaller portions, buying strategically, cooking in batches, and treating meat as part of the meal instead of the entire meal can reduce costs without making food feel empty. The lesson: expensive ingredients do not have to dominate the plate. Used wisely, a little can go a long way. 6. They saved jars, tins, boxes, and containers. Depression-era households reused containers because buying storage was unnecessary when useful containers were already coming into the house. Glass jars held leftovers, buttons, nails, grease, seeds, coins, screws, or homemade preserves. Coffee cans held tools, pencils, or kitchen scraps. Boxes were used for storage. Feed sacks became fabric. String was saved. Paper bags were folded and reused. Today, this can sound extreme. And yes, saving everything can turn into clutter, but the useful principle still matters. Before buying organizers, storage bins, bags, jars, or containers, ask whether something you already have can do the job. The Depression-era mindset was not about hoarding. It was about getting full value from every purchase. The lesson: packaging and scraps sometimes still have a second job left in them. 7. They traded and bartered when cash was short. When money was scarce, people often relied on exchange. A neighbor might trade eggs for sewing. Someone might fix a fence in exchange for vegetables. A person with a truck might help move furniture in exchange for firewood. A baker might trade bread for babysitting. Barter did not solve every problem, but it helped communities keep moving when cash was limited. It worked best when people knew and trusted each other. Today, barter can still work in the right situations. Skill swaps, childcare exchanges, tool sharing, neighborhood favors, and community trading groups can reduce expenses. The key is to keep things fair and clear. The lesson: money is not the only form of value. Skills, time, tools, space, and trust can also be exchanged. 8. They bought used as the first option. During hard times, buying used was not embarrassing. It was sensible. Furniture, tools, clothing, dishes, books, baby items, farm equipment, and household goods were often bought secondhand, repaired, handed down, or shared. People judged items by usefulness more than newness. A used table still held food. A second-hand coat still kept someone warm. A repaired tool still did the job. Today, buying used is easier than ever. Thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, marketplace apps, auctions, and consignment shops make it possible to save heavily on many categories. The old trick is to check used first for items where newness does not matter. Tools, furniture, storage, books, decor, some clothing, kids' items. The lesson: new is often a preference, not a requirement, and preferences can be expensive. 9. They kept cash hidden for emergencies. Many Depression-era families became deeply cautious with money. They had seen banks fail, jobs disappear, and income vanish, so some kept emergency cash hidden at home. It might be in a tin, jar, envelope, drawer, mattress, Bible, or locked box. This habit came from fear, but also from experience. When trouble came, access mattered. Today, keeping large amounts of cash at home may not be safe or smart for everyone, but having some accessible emergency money can still be useful. A small cash reserve can help during power outages, bank issues, travel problems, natural disasters, or moments when digital payment systems fail. The modern version is a properly stored emergency fund, with some money accessible quickly and more saved securely. The lesson: money you can reach in a crisis has a different kind of value. 10. They made household cleaners from basic supplies. Many families did not buy a separate product for every cleaning problem. They used basic supplies like soap, vinegar, baking soda, hot water, washing soda, borax, lemon, salt, rags, and elbow grease. A few simple ingredients handled many jobs. This saved money and reduced the need for cabinets full of specialized products. Today, some modern cleaning products are useful and necessary, especially for sanitation. But many households still overspend on too many sprays, wipes, scented products, and single-purpose cleaners. The old trick is to simplify. Use safe, basic supplies where they work. Avoid buying 5 products when one does the job. Use washable rags instead of disposable wipes when practical. The lesson: convenience products can quietly multiply spending. Sometimes the old basic solution is enough. 11. They shared tools instead of owning everything. In many neighborhoods, not everyone owned every tool. One person had a ladder, another had a saw, another had a sewing machine, another had a pressure canner, another had a truck or wagon. During hard times, sharing tools helped households avoid unnecessary purchases. It also strengthened community ties. Today, this idea still makes sense. Many people buy tools or equipment they use once and then store for years. Before buying something expensive, ask whether you can borrow, rent, share, or buy used. Some communities even have tool libraries. The lesson: access can be more valuable than ownership. If you only need something occasionally, owning it may be the expensive option. 12. They turned old fabric into something useful. Fabric was too valuable to waste. Old dresses became aprons. Worn shirts became patches. Flour sacks became clothing or towels. Scraps became quilts. Old towels became cleaning rags. Children's clothing was resized or handed down. This habit came from necessity, but it also showed creativity. People looked at material and asked, what else can this become? Today, fabric reuse can still save money. Old towels can become cleaning cloths. Worn clothes can become rags. Fabric scraps can be used for crafts, repairs, pet bedding, quilts, or stuffing. And learning simple sewing can turn damaged clothing into usable clothing again. The lesson: materials often have more than one life. The more lives you get from them, the less often you have to buy replacements. 13. They found small ways to earn from home. During the Depression, many people looked for income inside the home. They took in laundry, sewed clothing, baked for neighbors, watched children, sold eggs, rented a room, took in boarders, repaired items, did typing, sold garden extras. These were not always big businesses. Often they were small survival income streams. But small money mattered. A few extra dollars could help with food, rent, coal, shoes, medicine, or school supplies. Today, the same idea still works. Home-based income can come from services, food, digital admin work, tutoring, repair, resale, childcare, or renting unused space. The old lesson: income does not have to start big to be useful. Small extra income can create breathing room. 14. They avoided wasting heat, light, and fuel. Utilities and fuel matter deeply during hard times. Coal, wood, kerosene, gas, electricity, and heating oil all cost money. Families learned to close doors, cover windows, use quilts, wear layers, cook efficiently, share heated spaces, turn off lights, and avoid wasting fuel. Some of these habits came from poverty. Some came from common sense. Today, energy costs still affect household budgets. The modern version might be sealing drafts, using programmable thermostats, turning off unused lights, maintaining appliances, washing clothes efficiently, air drying when practical, and reducing unnecessary energy use. The lesson is not to be uncomfortable for no reason. The lesson is to notice what silently drains money every month. Small leaks in energy use can become large leaks over time. 15. They made entertainment cheap or free. During the Depression, entertainment did not always require spending money. Families played cards, told stories, listened to radio programs, sang, visited neighbors, attended church events, played music, read library books, had picnics, or gathered on porches. The goal was not to eliminate joy. It was to find joy without spending money every time. Today, entertainment spending can add up fast. Streaming services, restaurants, events, subscriptions, games, shopping, travel, and convenience all compete for attention. The old trick is to build low-cost enjoyment into life. Library books, walks, home movie nights, potlucks, free community events, game nights, creative hobbies. The lesson: a good life does not have to be expensive every single day. 16. They used notebooks to track what mattered. Many households tracked money, food, debts, orders, repairs, and plans with notebooks. They wrote down what was owed, what was paid, what was planted, what was canned, what was borrowed, what needed buying, what meals could be made. The system did not need to be fancy, it needed to be visible. Today, people have apps, spreadsheets, and bank dashboards, but many still avoid looking closely at the numbers. The old trick is to write things down in a way you will actually use. A notebook can still work, so can a simple spreadsheet or budgeting app. The lesson: clarity lowers panic. When you know what you have, what you owe, and what comes next, money feels less mysterious. 17. They preserved food when prices were low. Canning, drying, smoking, pickling, and preserving helped families stretch seasonal abundance. When fruit was cheap or a garden produced more than expected, families preserved what they could. This turned temporary abundance into future food. Jams, pickles, canned vegetables, dried beans, applesauce, relishes, and preserved meats helped households get through leaner months. Today, preserving food still works for people who have the time, skill, and safe methods. Freezing extra food can be a simple, modern version. Buying seasonal produce and preserving it can reduce costs if done wisely. Batch cooking and freezing meals can also prevent expensive last-minute food decisions. The lesson: saving money is easier when you prepare during abundance instead of waiting for scarcity. 18. They kept skills in the family. Many Depression-era households passed down practical skills: cooking, sewing, repair, gardening, canning, carpentry, animal care, budgeting, cleaning, mending. These skills reduced dependence on paid help. They also gave families options when money was tight. Today, many of these skills have been outsourced or forgotten. There is nothing wrong with paying professionals when needed, but knowing basic skills can save money and build confidence. Learning to cook, mend, budget, grow herbs, fix small items, compare prices, or maintain a home can have long-term value. The lesson: skills are a kind of savings account. Once you learn them, they can keep paying you back for years. 19. They used community as a survival strategy. During hard times, relationships mattered. Neighbors shared information, tools, food, work leads, rides, childcare, and help during emergencies. People knew who had extra eggs, who could sew, who needed work, who had a truck, who was sick, who needed a meal. Community did not solve everything, but isolation made hardship worse. Today, many people are more disconnected, even while being more digitally connected. The old lesson is worth remembering. A strong network can reduce costs, create opportunities, and provide support before small problems become disasters. This does not mean taking advantage of people. It means building mutual trust. Help when you can. Ask when you need to. Share information. Stay connected. The lesson: relationships can be practical, not just emotional. 20. They were slow to throw anything away. Maybe the deepest Depression-era money trick was hesitation. People paused before throwing things away. Could it be repaired? Could it be reused? Could someone else use it? Could it become parts? Could it be traded? Could it be saved for later? This habit came from scarcity, and taken too far, it can become clutter. But the useful version is powerful. Modern life encourages fast disposal: buy, use, toss, replace. The old mindset asks for one more step before replacement. Can this still serve a purpose? If yes, use it. If no, let it go responsibly. The lesson: The more value you extract from what you already own, the less often you need to spend. The Great Depression was a painful period, and it should not be romanticized. Many people suffered. Many families lost homes, jobs, savings, farms, businesses, and security. But hardship also forced people to become incredibly resourceful. They learned to cook from scraps, repair before replacing, grow food, stretch staples, trade skills, buy used, share tools, track money, preserve food, use community, and squeeze value out of almost everything they had. Today, most people are not living the same life they lived in the 1930s, but many are still feeling pressure from rising costs, uncertain work, debt, and the constant temptation to spend for convenience. That is why these old tricks still matter. They remind us that financial strength is not always about earning more. Sometimes it is about wasting less, using better, planning earlier, repairing sooner, and respecting the small amounts before they become big amounts. Because hard times teach lessons that easy times often forget. If you enjoyed this look at Great Depression money tricks, subscribe to the channel for more old-school money stories, practical history, and income lessons from the past. Thanks for watching.